ahead and get started. And let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome. This is the Planning Commission hearing meeting for Tuesday, January the 28th. Just want to welcome you and to ask anyone who would like to speak tonight to please stand. Anyone who will be speaking tonight?
Yes, I'll be speaking.
All right. Would you raise your right hand? Raise your right hand, please. Do you promise to tell the truth to the best of your ability, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. For those that would like to speak tonight, just address all questions to the chair. Wait to be called on. And we do have a consent agenda, and I am looking for a motion.
Chair.
You need to do roll call, I
Oh,
believe.
thank you very much. May I have the roll call?
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes, or here, sorry, here.
Yes, I am.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Here.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Present.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Here.
Commissioner Torres,
Here.
Commissioner Young,
Here.
and Chairman Wiley.
Here. Thank you for that. All right, now, can I get a motion on the
Chair.
consent agenda? Yes, Commissioner
I'd like
Nesbitt.
to pull case 24-3-2006.
Okay. Do I have a second? I'm
Second.
pulling case. Okay, I have a motion and a second.
You don't have to do that, that's just to pull it, so,
Would you like to discuss it?
well, you're supposed to do consent first.
All right. You want to, any questions about the consent?
Madam Chair,
Polling case, yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, thank you. We have that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second. Any discussion?
Repeat the case number, please.
We're polling case number 2.
24-3-2006.
Thank you. Where did it fit?
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
and Chairman Wiley.
Yes. And the consent agenda passes with the exception of case number 24-3-2006. And Commissioner Nesbitt, comments?
I'd like to ask staff some questions.
All right, go ahead.
So basically, this has been approved through you guys. Everything's been dotted i's and everything. Good.
Yes,
Because I'm seeing, you got down here, it's phase 5, but this here does not include, looks like 90 or 89 through 93. Is that correct? What's going on there?
the address there?
No, I mean, this is for 94 through 125. What about the 93 through 92, 89 through 93, which says phase 5? That's why I don't understand why, what's the difference?
There's been a renumbering of the lot numbers. Is that what you're asking?
This does include then, so what I'm looking at, I see the back side here, but I'm looking at the front side where I got 89 through 93, on one side, and then on that road, then on the other one, we got like 109, 107, 108, 109. Is that included in this? I'm guessing, no, it's not. I guess I'm not following, because we got phase 5, we got final plat for 5th plat, so that's why I'm not following. It's the phase 5, not the 5th.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The from the preliminary site plan.
Right.
That it was platted differently than the phase lines on the preliminary site plan. So the preliminary site plan those were just parallel to each other, I guess, those two phases, where the plat for the fourth plat was that east-west 13th Street or Terrace South, and then the fifth is the ends of these two cul-de-sacs.
Okay, so this picture I see here, the big one is actually wrong. That was what we approved first time, and it's changed.
And the phasing didn't exactly happen the same
Okay.
way, because we had some issues with some, I think some engineering and stuff for those
Okay,
lots that were on the far north.
okay, well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because it's not like what we approved, and now it's completely different, so that's why, but it's all kosher is what I'm trying to say.
Commissioner-
Everything's good with it now?
Yeah.
Commissioner
Yeah, we
Nesbitt?
already passed the fourth one, actually.
We do
Previous-
have a
previous to this
representative from
summer.
that project here.
Okay.
If
Well,
you'd
I'm- Okay, well, I'm just saying, I figured staff would know if everything's, I mean, I'm sure everything's good, it's just, it wasn't like what we approved, that's why I was just questioning it.
Yeah, the lot lines and that are like we approved. It's the phasing
Okay, so they
boundaries.
just
That
rephased it.
changed.
They just
It's those-
rephased it.
It's those phasing boundaries that was
Okay.
different.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, we're doing phase 5, and the other lots that we see on here will be a different phase 6, or,
No, everything's been platted.
oh, everything else?
This finishes it
This
off.
is the last
This
one.
mentioned.
This
Okay.
finishes it off.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other clarifications or questions?
Chair, I make a motion
Go ahead, Commissioner.
to approve case 24-320-06, final plat.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? All right. Call the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
and Chairman Wiley.
Yes. And motion for case number 24. Thank you. 24-320-06 final plat for Timber Creek Ranch. The fifth plat is approved on a vote of 7-0. All right, we will move on now to our public hearings. We have continued case 25-100-03, the rezoning at 10900 East Truman Road. All right, staff, could we have a presentation?
This is an application submitted by Ted's Trash located at 10900 East Truman Road. That's west of Sterling Avenue and east of Northern Boulevard. There's a Union Pacific Railroad bridge directly to the west of the subject site. The proposal is to rezone the subject site from I-1, C2, and R12 to I-1. Seems like there's a typo in the presentation, but the handout should be correct. So it's rezoning the subject site from a variety of zoning classifications to a single unified industrial classification. Here's a notification area map indicating the properties in which the owners were notified of tonight's public hearing. Zoning map as well as land use and zoning classifications of the surrounding properties. The subject site is surrounded by a variety of zoning classification and land use. South of the subject site across Truman Road contains a mixture of commercial establishments and residential dwellings. East of the subject site is a location of a legal nonconforming multifamily development, the Fairmount Highlands subdivision, containing a mixture of single-family residences, duplexes, a restaurant, a licensed tow lot, and an industrial equipment supplier and a used auto sales lot. West of the subject property houses another tow lot with 2 licensed operators, and in addition, a mixture of single-family and duplex residential uses. Lastly, to the north of the subject site sits a large undeveloped wooded area, along with the Patmar addition comprised of predominantly single-family residences. Here's an aerial image of the subject site. It's comprised of a total of 4 tax parcels, about 8.5 acres in size, has drive entrances off of Truman Road on the south and another drive entrance off of Harris Avenue on the east. The subject site is bisected by a second order stream, and the property owner will have to keep that second order stream in mind for any future development, ensuring that the land remains undisturbed in those areas. The site has several commercial structures existing, so several garage bays existing, an office space for customers, and the site is predominantly composed of gravel or aggregate material. So any future development will have to be in full compliance with the development code, meaning a paved all-weather surface for any future development. And here is the minor subdivision that the applicant has submitted. You can see the stream is indicated on the minor subdivision. That should be in the packet that commissioners have received. And that concludes the presentation. Staff recommends approval of this rezoning, and I'm available for any questions.
All right, commissioners, any questions for staff?
Chair,
Yes.
so you're saying that stream, he cannot do anything, put a culvert or anything through there? He's got to leave it wooded and like that, or what you're saying?
And I would not be the correct person to speak to about this, but on the plat document itself that gets recorded with the county, the City of Independence has specific rules and regulations. So if you read on the plat itself, the buffer zones that are indicated, it's like 105 feet on each side of the center line of that stream shall remain undisturbed from development. There are certain times when stream buffers can be developed, but in a very limited way for very limited purpose, like maybe sewer or other, potentially a crossing or a culvert like you had said. But
Okay, so my next question is going to be then, if he does any type of upgrades on it, is he going to have to put a water detention area then in?
so any water detention facilities would be required for areas that are paved. So any increase to the impervious coverage of the site would require engineering design, stormwater detention facilities. Exactly right. Outside of the scope of tonight's application for rezoning, though.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else? Questions for staff? All right, I invite the applicant to come forward. If you would please state your name and your address for the record.
Yes, Dustin Farrell, 26917 East Flynn Road, Independence, Missouri, 64057.
All right, thank you. What would you like us to know about your project?
Well, as you know, we've had quite the weather lately, and it's been a real pain to get around. So what we're doing with this is we're trying to develop an awning for our trucks, basically, so our trucks can sit underneath this awning. So the way to do this is to conjoin the properties, because where we need the awning was right on the boundary of 2 property lines, so we would not be able to do that project without this approval.
Okay,
So it will help the safety of our employees. It'll help us get our trucks on the road faster, so we can get your trash picked up faster.
all right. Any questions for the applicant? Commissioners? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody present who would like to speak in favor? Anyone who would like to speak in favor? All right, anyone who would like to speak in opposition? Anyone who would like to speak in opposition? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. Any final discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner O'Neill.
I move to approve case number 25-100-3.
Second.
All right, I have a first and a second. All right, would you call the vote?
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres, Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Chairman Wiley.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. And that was for case number, thank you, 25-100-06. Nope, that is the wrong one. Truman Road. That's all right. For case number 25-100-03, rezoning at 10900 East Truman Road. All right, thank you very much. Dustin, have a great night. All right, that takes us to case number 25-100-06, rezoning at 336 North Hawker Avenue.
Yeah, this is a application by Yogi Gupa to rezone a residential house that's been zoned industrial for quite some time. North of Truman Road, north of the Hawker Heights area, apartment area there on Truman, as you can see on the vicinity map from where the star is located. So the requested action is to rezone from I-1 industrial to R6 single-family residential. And so then here's the notification map. So you've got some of the residential, well, actually industrially zoned neighborhood lots to the north, and the apartment complex that's to the south in the notification area as well. So again, looking at the directionals here, got some vacant lots. So was traditionally been a residential street, but is zoned industrial. South of there is the apartment complex, which is zoned R18 PUD. To the east, more of the apartment complex, as well as some single-family homes that are zoned, or one single-family house actually, to the east that's zoned I-1. And then west, some more I-1 property that's the city park, as well as more of the apartment complex as well. And the comp plan sees this area as potentially a residential neighborhoods. As far as the property characteristics, rezoning this, the property would conform to the neighboring land use and the character of the neighborhood to the north, which industrially zoned is functionally residential. Property was platted in 1868 as part of the Johnson's second edition. The lot was first designated M1 industrial in 1965. Which was the previous designation before the I-1 that came in with the UDO in 2009. So this house, this picture makes this look like that's a huge lot, but that's actually more than one lot. That house there on the south of the clear area is a small dilapidated home. It was built prior to World War II. The property will, as they improve it, they'll have to provide paved off-street parking, which it currently does not have. Property doesn't have any apparent historic or archaeological issues. It's not in the floodplain or a stream buffer. In fact, if you're familiar, it's on quite a steep hill. All the utilities are already in place, and there are no CIP improvements planned. And again, like these other rezonings that people have asked for, if this rezoning is denied, the property owner and future buyers, given this I-1 zoning that it has, may have trouble obtaining mortgages and making improvements to the property if they come in to get building permits for decks or whatever. So this is the property, looking directly at it on the west side of the road. And then this is looking south down that hill toward Truman through the apartment complex. And then uphill to the north. So where there are additional residential houses, as you can see as you go past those trees up there and off to the right. So staff recommends approval of this rezoning, and I'm ready to take any questions you may have. I might also mention the applicant is not here tonight, but wants to go ahead with this case. So,
All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Ashfa.
question. When the applicant starts to make these improvements and is required to put a driveway in, concrete driveway or an asphalt driveway, either or,
that's correct.
just notice the street curbing goes up kind of halfway on the property and then it quits. You may not be able to see because of all the snow.
Yeah.
But on my picture, I can see it. So when they do that, are they required to also put the curb in, or is that something the city would do?
So I think you're talking about off to the right, there may be some missing curbing.
As you go up the hill, like if you go past the entry steps there,
Yeah, because there was a gravel pull-off area that they
Yeah.
had prior.
well, the curbing kind of ends, and it ends on both sides of the street, it just, as it goes up. But I was just curious as to whether there's a plan to have curbing in situations like this.
They haven't come forward with the,
So you're not requiring the curbing?
I mean, it would be an engineering decision, I guess, municipal services, as to whether the sidewalk would need, or not sidewalk, the
Driveway.
curbing would need to be extended, but I don't think,
Okay, well, that kind
We're
of answers
looking
my
for
question,
that.
because it's not something that you're going to absolutely require. They possibly could put the driveway in without the curb. Unless
I mean,
engineering says so.
they're gonna look
Engineering
at,
just-
they're gonna look at, I would assume the drainage situation, whether they have to put in a culvert or something, and then maybe they'll want him to extend the curb. I don't.
Okay.
I'm sure that's gonna have to be looked into, yes.
Right, so that kind of answered I think what I'm saying is that answered my question. You're not absolutely requiring it, it's an engineering decision on whether they need it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well,
Right.
I'd have to disagree with that. because
Commissioner
according-
Nesbitt?
Yeah, according to municipal services and according to, I guess, our charter,
They
the
have to provide
curb is
curbings.
part of the residence, so they will have to put a curb back on there, if I'm not mistaken, because I've had people in our neighborhood where the curb broke up and everything, and they said that's responsibility of the owner to put the curb in.
So
So-
is that just to replace something that used to be there?
Well, that's, I don't
Because it
know.
never
That's-
looks like it ever was.
No, it looks like it was never there, so, but, I mean, that's gonna be a call there, but the owner should be notified of that, I would think also.
Yeah, I think we normally look at things differently if it was something that was already there in front of the house and it was dilapidated and needs to be fixed. But a lot of residential streets in the city, of course, don't have curbing.
Yeah, there's a lot
And
of
they
them
end,
that have, yes.
or those curbs end at some point. And I know we haven't always required them to extend those things up the street.
Okay, well,
farther,
that
but-
makes sense. My question is he planning on remodeling that or tearing it down and rebuilding it? I mean, is it on a dangerous building?
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's asking to,
Okay.
it
so
was
is
on the dangerous buildings list, yes.
Okay.
That's why he's here, or not here, but that's why he's requesting this rezoning, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions to the staff? All right. Unfortunately, since the applicant's not here, but I do know from our own information that this house is in very bad shape. We have somebody who would like to turn a vacant building into a place for somebody to live, which absolutely fits into our plan as a city. So I'm always happy to see somebody willing. And the current zoning does not allow for it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts, anyone? All right.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
I believe I have to ask if there's anyone in opposition
I'm just-
or approval for this case? Anyone who'd like to speak in approval or opposition for this case? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. All right, Commissioner Ashfa.
Yes, I'd like to move approval of case 25-100-06, rezoning of 336 North Hawker Avenue.
I second.
All right, I have a first and a second. Any final conversation? All right, let's call the vote. Brian?
Okay, Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashball,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Abstain.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
and Commissioner Young,
Yes.
and Chairman Wiley.
Yes. And the motion for case number 25-100-06 passes with a vote of 7-0. That is it for our agenda. Anything for the roundtable tonight? Anyone?
How about them Chiefs?
All right, how about them Chiefs? All right, excellent.
I would just like to make a comment. I did actually receive my packet on the Tuesday after the meeting. So the postage wasn't wasted. It came in.
I received mine on the Thursday after the Tuesday, so. But for those of you that came and picked up packets, did that work? All right, so with your permission, we will provide a copy here and/or you can pick it up prior to this meeting. All right, perfect, thank you. Eric, I know there was a question you had, and it's already gone out of my head about the, we just talked about it too. Oh, I know what it was. The new rules that we agreed to. The question, we know business names cannot be on shirts and things that we wear. Can churches, chiefs, royals, countries, I mean, is this one of those things, just don't wear a shirt with anything on it? And could you find clarification if you need to?
Well, as far as like maybe the chiefs and things like that, I'll have to get clarification. I would say, I think if like the attorney were to talk, they would say if you feel that it would be somewhat inappropriate or in some way, be biased towards any particular case, then just
Don't do it.
Wear something neutral.
Okay. All right. Well, that is it. I will adjourn this meeting at 6:30.